Yes sir. Yo, tshela izitha zami ukuthi angakapheli moya. Inhlupheke yesikhashana ngisazophatha indodla. Utshela abangidlalisa injeje basuke bengilola sengibukhali ngamagama ukwehlula iblade leminora. Unumber 10 elami jazz mabezama ukungikeleza ngibumbhalo ongafundeki awusoze uphela umoya ekhaya ngingakosati stairs ngisho izinto zikabamawa akho phuphe ngizokalifeza angithemmelezi kumuntu mina ngisebenzisa inkani makuthi impilo ibhekene nami ngikhipha zonke ikhaya ukuthi ulinde ukufakwa sesadlula leso sikhathi bazok.
So why do we as traders know the rules but still break them? This is a personal story about why we keep repeating the same trading mistakes. Now, have you ever closed a trade and just sat there and you start asking yourself, knowing exactly what you're about to say, by the way, like I knew better, not I didn't know, but I knew I wasn't supposed to take this trade. I've said those words more times than I'd like to admit. What's frustrating though is not losing the money. It's losing money by breaking the rule that I wrote down myself. And maybe you've been there too. You spent hours creating a trading plan over the weekend, detailing it, you're writing it down, you write your rules, you promise yourself that this week will be different. And Monday morning arrives, and somehow by lunchtime, you're breaking every rule you promise yourself to follow. So here's the question that made the change and that I've asked myself years ago, still sometimes do ask myself to this day is, why do we as traders know exactly what to do and yet we keep doing the opposite? Today I want to share what I've discovered, not from a book, not from a mentor, but from years of making the same mistakes over and over again. One lesson that changed everything for me was when I realized something uncomfortable, that knowing isn't the same as becoming. Knowing isn't the same as becoming, or you can also say knowing isn't the same thing as doing. I know exercise is good for me, but sometimes I skip the gym. I know eating healthy is better, but sometimes I find myself reaching for junk food and sometimes at 12 midnight. Knowledge has never been the problem. If we're being honest, nowadays, knowledge is everywhere. More so enhanced by AI and these other systems. Knowledge has never been the problem. Behavior is. And trading exposed the truth more than anything else in my life. As traders, we love learning. We read books, we buy courses, we watch YouTube videos, we take tons and tons of notes. We like to mark up the charts, highlight the charts. We like to study price action. Yeah, yet when the market opens, it's almost like someone else takes over, not the usual max capital you're used to, or whoever your name could be. Have you noticed that before the opening bell, you're calm and you look at your watch list and think, today I'm only taking high quality setups, and then the market opens, the stocks or currencies start flying. I wasn't planning to trade it. It doesn't fit my strategy, but suddenly my brain now starts negotiating. Maybe this one is different. If I don't get in now, I'll miss the move. I'll just take a small position. Funny how quickly discipline becomes a negotiation. That's when you realize, or that's when I realized something, that We don't break our rules because we have forgotten them. We break them because emotions temporarily become louder than our principles, louder than our plan. The fear of missing out on this trade, the fear of the market coming back to hit your stop loss, then you start toggling your stop loss. The greed, you want to make more out of this position. Suddenly, a 1:3 is not enough. You want a 1:5, 7, 10, 1:30, and when the market does that, you get frustrated, right? The frustration sometimes could be in form of the market is taking too long to come back to my area of interest. The frustration could be the market is taking too long to get to my target profit. The frustration could be the market is playing very too close to my stop loss, right? And you become impatient. And those emotions don't erase our rules. They simply overpower them. The mind is very strong. This is why I always like to trade in a more mechanical way, where there's no wiggle room, where my mind has no input. My plan is that there are no gray areas. Either the edge is present or it's not. I take trades the same way. I remember one trade that still makes me smile and cringe at the same time. I had an amazing week. Followed every plan. I was patient, disciplined, uh, confident, as you may think. Then Monday came. First trade lost, no problem. Second trade took another loss, still okay. Then I saw some commodity. I can't remember very well whether it was crude oil or natural gas. It was exploding higher. It had already made most of its move, average daily range, if you may. My trading plan literally said, never chase an extended move or moves. The rule couldn't have been clearer than that. So naturally, I chased it. As soon as I clicked buy, I knew I didn't need the market to tell me. I just knew at that moment that I already broken my own rule. But that's not the crazy part. My brain immediately became a defense attorney. I was thinking at that moment, it still has more room to go. This one is different. Don't we always think this one is different? You've got a good month. You can take one aggressive trade. That was just my brain playing attorney. Have you ever noticed how intelligent we become when we are trying to justify a bad decision? We have all the reasons why this wasn't really a bad decision. We try to convince ourselves. We create the most convincing arguments against our own trading plan. That trade became my biggest loss of that week. But the money wasn't what bothered me the most. What bothered me was looking in the mirror afterward. I do reflect a lot. Because I couldn't blame the market. The market didn't break my rules. My rules were clear. I did. That particular day taught me something I don't think I'll forget. The biggest battle in trading isn't between you and the market. It's between the version of you who wrote the trading plan and the version of you who has to execute it under pressure. And those often are two completely different people. The one who was writing the plan and the one who was executing the plan when the market starts flying. So what changed? Honestly, I stopped trying to become a better trader. Instead, I started trying to become a better decision maker. This might sound confusing. So every time I broke a rule, I stopped writing. I made a mistake. Instead, I asked, why? Then I asked again, why? And again, and again. And eventually I realized that the trade wasn't the real problem. Maybe I chased because I had the fear of missing out. Why did I have the fear of missing out? Because I believe there wouldn't be another opportunity on that particular day. Why did I believe that? Because deep down, I didn't fully trust my edge. Suddenly, the problem wasn't chasing candles. The problem was lack of confidence in my process. That's a completely different problem to solve. The second thing I changed was even more important. I stopped judging my day based on the P&L or the profit or loss. I started judging it by one question in particular, which I still do to this day. Did I follow my process? If I followed the rules and lost money, it was a successful day because I was really reinforcing good habits, right? If I made money while breaking my rules, that wasn't a good day. It was dangerous because the market had just rewarded bad behavior, and the more bad behavior gets rewarded, eventually it becomes a bad habit. So today, I remind myself of one simple truth every morning before the market opens, that my job isn't to predict the market. My job is to protect my discipline, because if I protect my discipline eventually protects my account. My simple definition of discipline is simply saying no to self-sabotaging habits, thoughts that might end up getting me into losing the account. God forbid. It's always acceptable to take a small loss here and there, but losing the whole account, now that's something else. So the next time you catch yourself saying, I know better, this time is different, don't stop there. Ask yourself, why did I ignore what I already knew? That question changed my trading, and it might just change yours too. I don't know. I'd love to hear from you. What's the one rule you keep breaking, even though you know better? Leave it in the comments, because chances are you're not the only one. We as traders fight the same battles, and sometimes knowing we're not alone is the first step forward, finally changing. Now that's it from me, ladies and gentlemen. See you on the next one. Plan your trades, trade your plan, and remember to mind the risk. Out. Cheers.
Angithimelezi kumuntu, mina ngisebenzisa inkani makukuthi impilo ibhekene nami ngikhipha zonke ikhani ukuthi ulinde ukufakwa sesadlula leso sikhathi bazokusondela ngoba naku sebekubona usushine.